BlogTalkRadio.
Yes, I think we're live now. We have Bill Dahn on tonight, talking about St. Paul, Minnesota, Jesse Ventura, governorship run from about a decade ago. And it's very interesting how I came across getting Bill on here. I actually heard on the Alex Jones show, Jesse, the promotion of Jesse, who was running for president, and in 2016, he said he could run for president if it could be promised that he could debate, that he would run for president in 2016. And I thought, wow, that'd be interesting. So I was on eBay and I was trying to promote, and I saw this book called Always Cheat by Jesse. The book is the title of the book is Always Cheat: The Philosophy of Jesse Ventura. It's by Leslie Davis. And in the book, there's a chapter on Bill Dahn and a few other pages. It's by Tell the Truth Books Incorporated, 168 pages, copyright 2002. And Bill had written in there his information from 2005, and I called the number, and here is the result of the situation. Finally, Bill called me tonight, and I was in the middle of seeing the Dread movie, and as soon as I got out, I called him back, and we talked, and I said, hey, I'd really like to get you on and have you share your story. And he obliged. He's got a lot to say about Jesse Ventura and St. Paul, and from insulation, government-installed insulation that has formaldehyde in it, which causes cancer and other sicknesses, and causes other organ failures, and so I think we have Bill on the line with us, if I'm not mistaken. Are you with us, Bill?
Yes, you do.
All right, very good.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope that was
okay. I'm glad to be on here. I get a chance to talk about corruption in all phases of government. I ran for governor in 1998 because I spoke out being a whistleblower about bad insulation put in by the government. They put it in my home for free. Remember, you get nothing for nothing from the government.
That's right.
It costs. Well, anyway, this insulation, this insulation made me sick, made all my friends sick who came to my house. It had 15 times over the legal limit for Minnesota. I kept speaking out, and they kept getting cops over to my house and kicking in the doors, putting guns to my head to try to scare me to shut up. I stuttered back then. I couldn't shut up. Well, now I can speak. From 1999 on, the grace of God gave me my speech, and I use it for good. I'm not afraid of nothing out there no more. I speak up about everything. Well, anyway, in 98, they called me and they wanted to put me in the nut house if I didn't shut my mouth. So I thought, well, you can't shut up a politician. I called, see how much it cost for governor. I took my $600 in mortgage money, went down and signed up for governor on the Reform Party. Ventura and his man was, they gave me a call a couple of days later, and they wanted to come over and meet with me and talk about stuff. Well, I didn't know what he wanted to talk about. And anyway, he said, don't have no one there except your lieutenant governor running mate. So anyway, they came over, and they wanted me to switch parties from Reform Party to Republican. Gee, I wanted my house fixed so bad I would have stood on my head because my house was making me sick, and I couldn't stand it. So anyway, they put this insulation in 95. I ran for governor in 98. And it caused so much trouble because he got on the radio, Ventura, and spoke about how sick he got in my house. And then the announcer says, hey, you bought the guy. And Jesse goes in the point and says, so what if we did that? What's the big deal about it? Well, a bribe's a bribe. He wouldn't have won. He wouldn't have got in. He cheated his way. He bribed his way. He bribed as many people as he could to cover up about the bribe to me. It's just ridiculous. It's a campaign violation. Now that I can speak and I learned the law, I was the stupid guy back then. I didn't know that you had to have a lieutenant governor to even run for governor. So I knew nothing. I ran for governor. I made a difference. After he bribed me, I never shut up. He put restraining orders on me, and I never understood why. But on YouTube, under Bill Dahn, D-A-H-N, you can watch the 2-minute video of Jesse Ventura and his campaign manager, Dean Barkley, getting me to switch.
I think the official title of that clip is Jesse Ventura and Dean Barkley bribing Bill Dahn to change political parties. But if you just type Bill Dahn in, it'll come up to, 2 minutes, 13 seconds.
Yep, and is that amazing, isn't it? Well,
it is.
I'm a nobody. I caused all this trouble. And then in 2002, again, I ran for governor. And they put in the Minneapolis Tribune that Mr. Dahn has put up everybody's hemorrhoids. That's because I never shut up. After I got my speech, I was on every part of government because they ruined people's homes. They were going to fix mine, but I wanted the other 200,000 of them fixed in Minnesota, not just mine. You know, hey, I care about others. That's what's wrong with me. If I didn't care about others, I would do very well in life, have something. Well, I found out I have all you want in life by having Jesus Christ. I'm such a happy guy being poor that I'm glad I don't have nothing. But I have a mouth. I have the biggest mouth you ever saw because I never shut up. I have nothing to lose. I lost everything I had on 9/11, 2001, because of Jesse Ventura putting restraining orders on me and covering up about my house to such an extent because his man was helping me get it repaired, and this is all documented. So, you know, he's a crook. He conspired before he came to my house to get me to switch parties. That's illegal, and if I would have had that tape or even knew I had it, the Democratic Party said they would have paid $100,000 for it back then. But, you know, I never knew I had it. I was out of it in my own house from delirium. You know, there was just too much formaldehyde, and I'm allergic to smells, and it was just terrible. I was in there 6 years with both sewer gas and formaldehyde. And they were going to take my cats because it wasn't fit for animals. Well, on my website, www.BillDahn.com, is, you know, a bunch of stuff at the bottom of the page about my house and how it had sewer gas, and it was a health and safety issue. But, you know, they left me in that house. A year later, the guy I bought the house from was over day after Christmas, and he died there from the sewer gas.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And then they left me in there yet, and nobody would do anything. No code enforcement would shut down my house, you know, for bad. Anytime the sewer gas comes through your furnace, and that letter's on my website, and it was sent to Dean Barkley, Jesse's campaign manager at the state capitol at his transition team. So So no one can say nothing's phony or nothing. He was the cameraman in the 2-minute and 12-second video at my home that he kept splitting out that they had changed me to become Republican. Well, in the book it says, does Bill Dahn sound like a Republican to you? He's a disabled Native American. I'm a half-breed Indian German, and like I am a disabled person, and I couldn't speak. But from all this that happened to me, I think God really blessed me with my speech and so many other abilities, and it's amazing. I'm out there every day fighting for other people, and that gives me my enjoyment in life because my sensitivities to smell is so bad I can't even go out. And I realized the other day how or why I volunteered for the food shelf 18 years, driving truck for him for 10 now, to stay out of trouble, stay busy, and still argue with government because I'm so lonely because I can't go out because of smells. There was a big issue about it just lately. Last week I got so discouraged. I was wondering, why I do all the things I do. I burn the bridges behind me so I can never step back. I fight government to such an extreme that if they kill me, good. But if they don't kill me, I'm winning the war because they're too afraid to ever stop me anymore because I would get publicity. They don't want to give me publicity. They don't want to ever arrest me. And here's Jesse Ventura and all the rest of the politicians. They respect me after they put that in the paper that Mr. Dahn has his foot up everybody's hemorrhoids. You see, it sounded terrible to different people, but I thought it was great because after that, our whole government here respected me. It amazes me from getting kicked around like a dog when I first started about my house and how it turned out. Hey, I'm glad everything happened the way it did. I lost everything I ever owned, pictures of my kids, my mom, my dad, everything as I was growing up, and all my equipment, my cars, boat, trailer, everything imaginable in my house on 9/11 because I kept fighting a fight against government-sponsored weatherization program that gets their money from Washington, D.C. In 1997, Bill Clinton's office called the Department of Energy and told them to fix my house. The guy called and left a message. I still got it that the White House called him and told him to fix my house. I spent so much money calling there and leaving messages and begging. I do not beg no more. I went and begged for some people in my mobile home town here because the mayor was throwing out his ex-girlfriend out of the town because she knew too much. Well, it started a big fight out here. We had crooked politicians. I'm running for mayor of this town, and I got a lot of people busted already. And that gives me the best feeling, the yayas, to get a city attorney and a city manager busted, and then a lot more going to jail because our town was taken over by HRA, that holds the loan on it or something. Because it got that bad, I went to the state and asked them to come in with troops to take over our town, and they laughed at me. They thought I was kidding. Well, hey, I don't kid. And I don't step back because my mother told me winners never quit and quitters never win.
Yeah,
so,
it's a good
all
motto.
My life. Huh?
That's a good model to live by because
it is.
Really believe in something. You'll
because
stick
you know
with
what? It makes you believe that I can. And every time, like I'm out there, I encourage other people with my attitude, and I tell them, because I can, we all can. We all can do anything we set our minds to. And that's scary because you get a lot of people out there that are stubborn and they got something on their mind they want to get done and they do it. Boy, just think how scared our government's going to be. A bunch of people around like me, that would be spooky.
They'd be getting too much stuff done, and
no,
government wouldn't know what to do.
I fight for people I never even met before. And I took a class on like fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yeah.
Because some people at the Capitol wanted me to join the group because I had a big mouth. And I never even knew what they were talking about when they had me join the group. Well, anyway, I took a course, and I can be a advocate, a counselor, and all this. But it disturbed me so bad that these people are disabled. They're disabled so far worse than I am, and I think I'm disabled, but I still do everything. But these people can't walk, or are in they're in a wheelchair all their lives or something. These people, it wasn't even their fault. Just like my insulation and everybody's insulation was not their fault. That insulation, what formaldehyde causes is cancer, kidney, liver, central nervous system damage, burning eyes, nose, throat, nausea, headaches, disorientation, skin rash, and asthma. It's worse on kids and elderly. Hey, I fight for these people I didn't even know because, it's somebody's mom, somebody's kids, somebody, it's other people. I'm only one. I don't mind giving my life. And all the people know that because, hey, I scare them. I even scare myself because I do not have any worry if they kill me or not because I feel that Jesus Christ would take me away and that's it. And I don't have to bother with these people. Matter of fact, I push them. Like I said, I'm not one of those people who step back. I'm not like the people on the highway where you're in the fast lane and you pull over because they're doing 90 on your tail, and you pull over a little to leave them by and they pull over. See, I'm not that type of guy. I'm a guy out there and I go. I don't stop. And, you get anybody out there like me, this spooky because, I'm a different type of guy ever since Ventura and Dean Barkley screwed me so bad, lied to me. He was never a Navy SEAL. He was never off the ship. He was a UDT trained, but he never did it. He lies about everything. He's a bully. I had a doll that I bought at a Goodwill, and I put a pink bow on it like he wore, and put a diaper that said "Crybaby" on it. Did that piss him off? I piss off the guy because I can, and I laugh about it now because he used his power to shut me up all those years. And he bribed people to cover up about him, get me to switch parties. He did so much illegal stuff, conspiracy, collusion. He was they called him in the basement of our state capitol. There was, I don't know if there's 23 or 33 CIA agents, he said. Well, they were asking him how he got elected. Well, you know how he got elected now. He came to me and he got me to switch parties. He only wanted to get a little over 5% of the votes in 98, so he would get campaign finance money in 2000.
You were on the Reform Party, and he had you switch to the Republican Party. Was that so that he could get onto the Reform Party?
No, he was on it. Hey, he announced in December or January that he was going to run on the Reform Party. And I signed up on the Reform Party because a person can sign up anywhere they want. You pay the money, and there you are. You're on the ticket. You know.
So did he bribe you with money to switch parties?
Well, he was going to give me one of those 90-some thousand a year job, me and my partner. But I told him, no, I don't want money. I just want to go around the nursing homes and write them up. I didn't want to be paid for it. See, I don't want nothing out of life. I just wanted my house fixed, and it could have cost $8,000 or $10,000. But Dean Barkley, after he started helping, he got me bids of. He got one bid of $72,000 and the other for $80,000. See, and they called me every name there could be because I was trying to get it fixed for $8,000 or $10,000, and I had contractors going to do it for me, but they wanted to cover up about this bad insulation. But I want to tell you something, people out there. I may live in Minnesota, and they did 200,000 homes here in Minnesota. But Washington, the Department of Energy, told me that they put that insulation all over the United States. So it could be in your home, and you don't even know it. And they bought it out of Canada, where Canada banned it. So they paid
I'm not sure.
pennies. Huh?
I was mentioning the formaldehyde-infested Chinese drywall that's down here in Florida. I don't know if that's related to the formaldehyde.
No, it's not related. But, you know, the stuff that they put in is ground-up newspaper. And they bought it out of Canada, where they banned it up there. They bought it for pennies on the dollar. And then they got reimbursed from the federal Department of Energy in Washington, dollars per penny. And you know how that goes with those nonprofits. Hey, I got people busted out there. You know, I could care less who I point the finger at if they're crooks. Do you know the Salvation Army up here a few years back did not bring in as much money? Do you know why? I let everyone know the Salvation Army is a London-based company. They're not the American company like you think. Their money goes to London. You know, I ran for Attorney General in 2010. I got 103,000 votes on just $80 in campaign cards. I got around the state with the Christian food shelf talking to people. And that's how I got so many votes, because Ventura and the Independence Party had nothing to do with me. They wouldn't even let me put my campaign cards at our state fair. But
we were talking about
though.
it is. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, the corruption has no end. We were talking about the conspiracy theories series that Jesse Ventura did for the True TV, and you said, well, none of that was really his idea or his ideas.
No, he got people who get the stories, and he talks about it. Okay? That's all. And people out there, you remember when his name was Arnold Schwarzenegger? It was Ventura's good buddy who did movies with him and everything, and he came up here, you know, all the time. Arnold did. I sent that movie out to California when Arnold was running as an independent. Well, after they watched the 2-minute movie of Ventura get me to switch parties in the news out there, here's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He dropped out, and he said he would run next time as a Republican, and he did, and he won, you know. But he was no longer buddies with Ventura no more, which Ventura gave Mrs. Schwarzenegger $500,000 from our state. Yep. Yeah. Maria Schreiber, a Kennedy girl. Yep. And gave her $500,000 for her disabled charity Down Syndrome in California, which was illegal, and I put that in the email when I sent the movie all around to the news in California when Arnold was running as an independent. And now he has no time for Ventura. You know, hey, you got to remember, whatever you do in life, there's somebody out there that probably saw you. So you got to watch what you do in life, because sooner or later it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And we see that happening with Ventura over the years, because he thought he could shut me up. All he did was make something out of me that I was never, and I could never speak until after he put restraining orders on me in 99. I couldn't talk. Well, all my life. Well, it's the grace of God gave me my speech, people. And hey, I scare myself because I never stop. I never back up.
Now, there's some.
I help. Oh, no, I don't.
I was just going to say, I remember talking to your neighbor briefly, and he mentioned he's running a paper, right?
Yep. He is.
There's an action they have, a motion with several big names working regarding some stuff that's going on in Minnesota right now, some Lands Act or something.
Yeah, I tell you what it is. It's the city of St. Paul picking on on landlords and using code enforcement to put them out of business, because they rent to lower-income people, and they want to clean up St. Paul from lower-income people, you see. And so they don't want people to rent to blacks, Hispanics, or low-life whiteys or anything. They want high buck in, and they want to change their town to all higher buck people. And they want to control who rents what. So anyway, it was St. Paul where I was living all those years, and I'm glad I moved out of there just a couple of years ago. But I still get picked on when I pick on that town. But with those landlords, what they're doing is screwing the people, because these landlords got a justified suit, and it was tied up in court for 8 years or so. And here they keep bouncing it around, and it's costing the taxpayer. But they should have just paid off these landlords. But if they did, it would set a precedence, and then everybody would be bringing a lawsuit against the city of St. Paul and every other city because of discrimination. It's called the Hobbs Act a lot. It's the same as racketeering, but it's easier to convict, the Hobbs Act. And so,
you remember the name of the paper?
The paper is the St. Paul Globe.
The St. Paul Globe.
Yeah,
okay.
And he just started it up after 1905 when it belonged to James T. Hill, and he's a pretty well-known guy in Minnesota. And so they closed the paper, which was a Republican paper, and then they started the St. Paul Pioneer Press or something, and that was a Democratic paper. Talking about this, our city is run by Democratic mafia. Imagine that. You know, if it was a Republican town, it would be a Republican mafia. But this town has been run that way since the time of the bootleggers, and all the gangsters would come here, and they would leave them. They would leave them alone as long as they never broke the law here. Well, then they kidnapped the Hams kid or somebody. So then everybody got involved in it, the FBI and everything. So then they started busting these people, but the ones in charge here, the police, the mayor, the city council, everybody, they allowed all these criminals to be here as long as they didn't break the law here. They wanted their money They wanted them to spend their money here. You know, my aunt was a bootlegger back then, so hey, there's my aunt got to know a lot of these gangsters that came from Chicago and New York and all over. And, you know, it's pretty nice because our town got a background to it. It was all, we had so many gangsters, but the gangsters were actually the politicians. And, you know, I get to pick on them. I pick on the Democrats or Republicans or the Independents. It don't matter. But, you know, you can't trust any of them. I'm going to tell you what a Democratic, a guy from a Democratic Party that's on top of the ladder out here, he told me that there's not a dime's worth of difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. It's all about money. All about.
Oh, yeah.
And after he told me that, I thought, fuck, I don't have no faith at all no more, because I know any party is that way. Because the Independence Party, by knowing Ventura and Barkley, I see what they're about. You know, it's all about money. You see, I wouldn't make a good politician, evidently, because I don't like money. I don't like cheating people like all these state senators and whoever, and they vote for this and that, and they're lining their own pockets.
Yeah, that's what it's all
about. Huh?
Yeah, that's right. Money. How much money? You don't think Barack Obama or Mitt Romney, a billionaire, you know, you think he's getting into the presidency so he could make $400,000 a year as a president? Hell no. Hell no. No, that's just you know, ceremony. Just like our Congress and our Congress is ceremonial, right? Do they actually do anything for the people? Pretty
no,
much
they don't,
not.
do they?
No, they're in there.
Ain't that a shame?
You know, jibber jabbering and you know, and filibustering, and what comes of it? You know, you get a little piece of something here, a little compromise there, and then they go on break, and then Obama passes 923 executive orders in the last 3.5 years. That just is insanity, and it just goes to show you Congress is sitting on its ass to allow 923 executive orders by Obama's administration to have been passed, and it just shows you that it's all a big crock of crap.
You want to hear something even worse? You remember Obamacare or something?
Yeah,
and
2,700 pages.
Yeah, you know what they did though? Everybody on either medical assistance of some kind, they sent that book out to them. Who the hell can read a book that our Congress and everybody did not read? Remember?
Yeah. Why would they
waste? They wasted all that money to send out millions of books across the United States of all those pages. Hey, I bitched at them for doing that because, you know, who the hell is going to read it if the government didn't read it before they passed it? Remember?
I tried to read it. I sat down and got about 3 or 4 pages into it, and I went into it cast a spell on me. I went into a deep sleep and got a headache. The words are that convoluted. Yeah, it's a spell. It's an evil spell from the pits of hell. Satan is the author, and you cannot read it. I mean, you can't read much of it before you get a headache and fall asleep. It's that bad. It really.
Hey, I never even opened the page because I figured if the people who passed it did not read it, why should I? And then I changed insurance anyway because I didn't want to be part of that insurance. You know, so I changed back to the kind I had, which is just plain and common. You know.
And you got people like Nancy Pelosi, that was the Speaker of the House at the time, and she's still in Congress, and she said she opened her big stupid mouth and said, let's just pass the bill so then we can see what's inside of it. What an idiot. If that's not a ceremonial thing to say, I don't know what is. I mean, that's about as ceremonial as you can get. In fact, traitorous. That's a traitorous thing to say. It says, I'm not doing my job. I don't really want to do my job, and I definitely don't have your best interest, the people I'm supposed to serve up here as a representative of California. I'm not sure, she may have been Speaker of the House at the time, but yeah, either way, she's still a politician, and she really should be pretty much behind bars. I mean, you know, when you come down to it, that's where she should be. I mean, the founding fathers would have done that. Thomas Jefferson, you know, George Washington, they would have put Nancy Pelosi behind bars. They would have hung her up with a stake, you know, put her in those the racks, that thing where you're bent over, and your head's hanging out with your forearm or your hand. She would have been in the racks for about a week. I don't know if that would have got
and
anything.
you know, I would even go and I would pay money to go watch shit like that. Any politician that get tar and feathered or anything, I would pay good money to watch that. Because I like to laugh at them. Hey, I laugh at all politicians. I got a guy who eventually ran for U.S. Senator and became it. I got him to fix his teeth by saying he never got that from sucking bananas. You know, he had a big gap in his teeth.
You think Jesse Ventura should be running for president in 2016? He says he will if he can.
Oh, no, I don't think he should run for anything, because you watched that 2-minute video at my house. He bribed me. Hey, he is the scum of the earth. I'm sorry. But when we protested him in 2003, he had us arrested because he couldn't take watching me stand there and looking at him, because he got me to switch parties. He caused it that there was restraining orders on me because I had that 2-minute video. Gee, I never even remembered I had it. I was so delirious when he was there. I just ran for governor because they called me and they told me if I didn't shut up. And I was getting pretty tired of people telling me to shut up about insulation that the government sponsored weatherization program put in from a nonprofit company. Well, you start interrupting any money flow from Washington in someone's pockets, they get pretty damn upset. The guy yes?
You said that was from a particular company, that formaldehyde insulation?
Oh, no, it came from Canada, but it was being put in by a nonprofit organization here in Minnesota. And I spoke out about them. I got people caught, and then I investigated. The guy had 5 jobs in the system as director, 5 part-time jobs, making like he was making like either $52,000 a year, I believe, and he had 5 jobs, and they were part-time according to the contract. Well, that comes out to $260,000 a year, part-time, mind you. And there's this other guy named Bill Clinton that year, 97, working 24/7, and he only made $200,000. So this is a creep. So here's a creep at a nonprofit organization sucking in money. Well, I got him busted there, and then he went over to a corporation that was one of them that he got paid from, and it was like Second Harvest. Second Harvest is all over the United States. You know that?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And I got so many votes in 2010 because I was pointing a finger at them for racketeering. I volunteered for a Christian food shelf, and they take all the food, and they put people on their board of directors from these companies, these high executives, and that is illegal. I don't know anything in life, but I'm learning so quick because there's a purpose for everything. And, you know, all I do is study law because law is so dirty, you know. You can't trust anyone in law at all because they change judges on you. And then they can do as they want. My little town here, boy, they do what they want. And I'm
Bill, I have the 2-minute clip here queued up. I want to play at least just to the point where he says you switch parties, probably about halfway through, just so that we can we can have this on here. So I'm going to let it rip now.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
It's recording. Yeah, someplace where we got to fix it was all together, so okay. Maybe in the corner with 2 here. And it's half there, there's a real plan with on 2 by that. 3 was off Tuesday, 2 guys have been both of you can switch to get up and over.
There it is.
Is it running?
Yeah,
You all got to watch that at home because you can hear it and to be able to see Jesse Ventura making an idiot of himself. Because I told him when we were protesting him in 2003 that, I think you got dropped in your head too much as a wrestler. And then I told him, nah, I think your mama dropped you too many times. I pissed the guy off because he dogged me and he dogged the whole state of Minnesota. He chumped people. He made believe that he was almighty. All he was a lying person that was just building his ego, telling people, I'm a Navy SEAL. You remember when people came back from Vietnam, there was people who didn't even go to war saying, I was a Green Beret. Remember all that? Well, that's how Ventura is. Yes?
Yeah. Back in the early 2000s, huh?
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Go ahead, Bill. We got a few minutes here. We can wrap it up in the remaining few minutes. Actually, to about 3 minutes, and it's going to cut us off.
Okay. So anyway, go to my blog spot, BillDahnBlogspot.com, and you can see where I'm living now in the battle I'm fighting with the city government. And I do it because I can. That's the big thing. Any of us can do anything we set our minds to, and that's why we got to do it, because we got to help somebody who cannot help themselves. Imagine me not be able to speak, especially on the phone. It was, and you can see in the movie I couldn't talk hardly in it. So, I amaze myself, and in the grace of God, He gives you the power to do things. Well, He gives you more than you ever expect, and then you feel like you're Superman. Almost because he's, like there he is, he's giving you the extra push that we all need in life, And it amazes myself. But, I'm glad you bought that book on YouTube.
Yeah, I am too. I would have never, I would have never had this conversation with you.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk to you more, because I'm gonna make sure you get it's a half-hour show about the bribe and about the book by the same guy. And that is important because it explains it a lot better. The book is nice, but when you watch that half-hour show and read the book, it's really wonderful, So, but that book is amazing. That the 2-minute movie on YouTube, you will get to see how smart my governor, Jesse Ventura, really is. And I had T-shirts that said, our governor's IQ is lower than your governor. You know.
It sounded like he was trusting you to make a change on your from Reform to Republican. That you know.
Well, he did. He did it because he was going to lose his talk show. I was going to get the same amount of time on that radio talk show he had, and that was 3 hours a day.
The book
and
says
I
his
didn't
contract.
want it. He stuttered. Yeah, but I stuttered. I didn't want to be on the radio. You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't talk. So,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't want it anyway, but he lost the radio show anyway because other candidates brought charges against him. You know, and that's amazing because those charges were covered up. And we got dirty government. I like to pick on them. You know, I pick on them all because I like to pick on dirty government because they're all dirty. How do you know when a politician's lying or a lawyer?
Lips are moving. His lips are moving.
You got it. That's how it always was, huh?
Yeah.
And money talks, bullshit walks.
Yeah. There was a lot of BS going on in the presidential debate last night too. I tell you.
Yep. And remember, it's all about money. And like you said, why would they want to spend so much to get a job that hardly pays?
Anything,
You know?
They
got their hands in people's pockets and vice versa. All these people who donate to these people are owed something by your candidate. We have Mark Dayton. They own